Hi, this is Frank with a frank opinion again. I was going to do another video on HR 676, single-payer Medicare for All program, legislation introduced by John Conyers, but something happened yesterday that inflamed me again, and those of you that have been watching my videos know that I'm mad as hell and I can't take this anymore, and I hope that you can't either. I'm also dedicating once again this particular video, and there's a reason for it, to the 4 wonderful Americans that I met while I was in Boone, North Carolina last week. Crystal, Quinn, Sean, and Beth. My question today is, do you right now have a $500,000 nest egg for retirement, for financial security in the future? Not something that you're going to take money out for a car, not for college education for your kids, not for a boat, not for a first down payment for a house. No, $500,000 that's going to supplement your Social Security, assuming you have a Social Security history and can look forward to a Social Security paycheck. $500,000 that's going to be there for you in your retirement so you can take out some income. Well, what does that $500,000 get you? 4% is the basic percent that you would do to figure out what this is going to give you for life for over a 30-year period. It's a basic rule of thumb. Actually, there was a recent article last year in the New York Times that said, really, because of market gyrations, etc., it's really 2.85% that you should be looking at in terms of taking distributions for this from your nest egg. Well, what's 4%? 4% is $20,000. Income. You divide that monthly, and I guess it's around $1,667 if I'm right. But $20,000, $500,000 will get you safely in retirement so that you don't project it over a 30-year period, so you don't run out of money. $20,000 a year, and that does not include keeping up with inflation. Okay. First facts. In 2014, the average 401k balance for Americans, regardless of age, was $91,300. Again, that is not according to age, that was for everybody. For 55 to 64-year-olds, not that far away from Social Security full benefits at age 65, really 66 nowadays, they have $104,000 in terms of their 401k nest egg. If they're 65 to 74, nice, $148,000. And a lot of people think that that's a lot of money. But if you take a look at that 4% rule of thumb, that $104,000 gives you basically $4,000 worth of income to supplement Social Security. And the $148,000 gives you basically $6,000 to supplement your Social Security. So what is the Social Security Administration projecting as the average Social Security annual benefit in 2017, this year? It's $16,320. That plus your $4,000 or your $6,000 is not a great deal of money, is it? Both of these figures being extremely far away from $500,000. It gets worse. Right now, 29% of Americans 55 or older have zero in terms of a 401k, IRA, 403b, 457 if you are a government worker, zero nest egg, and no pension. 29% of Americans 55 or older have no nest egg and no pension. Well, what did the Republican Senate do yesterday? The House did it in February. It's known as H.R. Resolution 67. They obliterated the Obama rule allowing for Auto-IRA contributions, programs set up by state and localities, and several states have done so, to allow non-governmental workers that do not have access to a retirement program to have automatic payroll deduction IRA contributions to save for their retirement. The vote was on strict party lines, 50 to 49. One person was absent. So it was 50 Republicans, all Republicans, with the exception of one, Bob Corker. He voted no. The only Republican that voted not to do away with this ability for Americans to give them a chance to save for retirement was Senator Bob Corker from Tennessee. And I'm going to be calling his office to congratulate his courage in doing so. Let me mention a couple of other things before I go to my favorite graph, which is payroll deduct IRA programs do not give you a tax benefit up front like every other retirement program. So if you have a 401k, if you are a social worker or a hospital worker, sometimes you have a 403b. If you're a government worker, you have 457. They're all basically the same. If you're a small business owner and are lucky enough to know about simple IRAs, we'll get to that, you're going to get a tax benefit. You are not paying dollar for dollar. You're not losing dollar for dollar in cash flow in order to contribute to your retirement. Well, guess what? IRAs to this day, if there is a payroll deduct IRA program, you don't get that tax benefit. IRAs basically $6,500 if you're above 50 years of age. In terms of contribution limit, essentially for people with modest means, but they don't get a tax deduction. But guess what? The more money that you make in the United States of America, the more you can sock away on a tax deductible basis. So there's something called the single K. You can put away $54,000. Tax deductible, as opposed to $6,500 for your average worker that may have a family, that may want to take their children to a ball game, to have some recreation, to have some sports activities, arts, etc. Now, the more money that you make, the more you can sock away in our United States of America. And the poor person who's struggling to even put away money in an IRA doesn't get a tax benefit. The other thing that I may tell you is that lots of accountants and CPAs get their reputation by saving you on taxes. Hide your money, don't declare everything, small business owner, whatever, increase your cash flow. What does that do? You don't develop a Social Security history, so you're stuck like lots of people in their 50s, early 60s that don't have a pension. They may be 29% if they were a small entrepreneur, a small business owner that don't have either a pension or a nest egg. And guess what? They may not have a Social Security history, and therefore that $16,320, which is the average, they may not be able to get. They'll be working for the rest of their lives. My favorite graph. Remember this. If your legislator is not closing this gap, which is the biggest in the world, income and wealth gap, again, this is profits, corporate cash, wages since 1979, flat. And the audacity of the Senate to do what they did yesterday is abominable. Let me be an equal punisher here. The Democrats have allowed this to take place also. They didn't fix the IRA, the tax deductibility benefit at the point that you make a contribution. No, they didn't. Neither Democrats or Republicans right now are fighting for you. I think that you've got to give this a serious look and pay attention to what's happening in Congress while they're figuring out where Devin Nunes is going to be meeting clandestinely next. Take care. That's my frank opinion for today.